Yo, what up, man? How you doing?
Yo, what's up? Good to talk to you.
Yeah, same. Let me pause my music here. I felt like I should chat with you anyways because I'm just playing against bots right now, and I'm not talking like, I'm talking like leveling.
So you're leveling a Korean account?
Yeah. Because I'm gonna do, when I'm not coaching, I'm gonna do a climb.
That's sick. Okay. I'm excited about that one. I think now's the perfect chance to kind of take this popularity, newfound popularity in the mainstream. Yeah. I thought it was a very interesting situation, this whole shebang that happened with you. It's a weird case where there's so many aspects of it, and I kind of wanted to gaze on what your opinion is on whole this thing, like how it started, where it went, and like how much of this would be constituted as like this, just Twitter being like, the Twitter just being Twitter, like the snowball of opinion, like this mob mentality idea.
So
and how much is genuine criticism? So
yeah, so no, it's good. Basically where it started was, and I'm trying to make it a point to not highlight content creators specifically because I feel like that's kind of what they want right now. Like I don't want to really give them too much air, but basically it started with a content creator accusing me of scamming somebody because they missed the session, right? So they had a session booked, they missed it.
Okay.
And it says on my site, like, if you miss it, I'm not refunding you. Like, I can just choose to not refund you. Like, you agreed to this, right? There's like a checkbox. And the guy missed the session and I didn't refund him. And then months later, the guy DMs me.
The whole thing started, yeah?
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
and
I did a bit of research, like trying to figure out how far back this goes, like when it got to mainstream, yeah.
Right. So essentially, what happened was, I was just like, well, I'm not refunding him because, you know, if I refund this guy, then it sets a precedent, right? Any content creator could then go and bash you on social media, right? And then now you are pressured to just refund people just because, right? So I'm not, it's like I don't negotiate with terrorists type of situation.
Yeah, taking a stand on something, hard stance, so you're immovable on that front. Yeah.
Right. So basically it gets to the point where if I don't say like no, right, then I can just be walked over. And the same, I mean, it's in any industry. Like if you don't show up for your fucking appointment, like people don't have to give you any money back. Like people get it confused. Right? They think, obviously, yes, I am sitting at my computer. And yes, if the guy doesn't show up, I could just play the game. What if my day doesn't revolve around the game? Like I told my wife, like, hey, we can't hang out today. I can't go to this thing today because I have a coaching at this time and you don't show up for the coaching. Well, I don't get like, just because that time, like to somebody who doesn't take their profession seriously, that time doesn't look that valuable to them. Right? But to me, it is, because I would have probably filled that slot with something else. I have other things I can do to make money. Like I'm working with, pretty soon I'm going to announce I'm working with new app. Before that, I was doing the boot camp stuff. I managed 3 channels. Like I could be streaming the game myself. There's just so many different things that I could have been doing. Right? It isn't just as simple as like, oh, you're at your computer anyways, so
yeah, like that's just a standard business decision. You can have your own like ideas how to do it. Like,
right. You could do 50%.
24-hour notice and stuff like that. Yeah, 50%. I didn't think of that was a big deal when I saw it, but I guess that's how it whole started. Like that got onto that, and it just fanned out of there.
Right. Yeah, and I was of the mindset of just like, well, this is so obvious. That's what I keep saying. It's like, well, this is so obvious jealousy, you know, just being mad that you didn't monetize your shit or whatever. And I felt like anybody with half a brain could see it for what it was.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. And I hope you don't mind. I might pry a little bit here and there, and I might take some hard stances from Twitter and like these accusations and stuff.
Right.
Because I asked people to give me some questions and stuff. So we're gonna just to get like the defense out of there on those like certain claims and stuff, so we can discuss stuff. Yeah, first most important thing that I thought, what is your favorite NEACE coaching meme?
Oh, my favorite NEACE coaching meme
that came out of this. Yeah.
I think the funniest ones to me, like Definitely the Cadril one was pretty funny, I thought. I also, the one that had me Paris my one, it was like Kane starts Raptors or whatever. That's the one that's when I first saw it. And that's what it legitimately made me laugh. I was like, oh, that's what people are doing now. Okay.
Yeah, one morning I just woke up and my entire Twitter is just NEACE memes. It's fucking hilarious. So, okay. Second thing is the $350 for the pricing.
Right.
So how can we explain that? Let's explain to the audience. Like, why
yeah, so it's actually pretty simple. So all that happens is I used to do $20 replay reviews like back in the day.
Yeah, everyone did, yeah.
Right. And so I used to do that, and then once I figured out that live coaching was kind of interesting and it showcased basically live coaching gets a lot of flack. I noticed that it gets a lot of flack from Twitter as well because they go, well, VOD reviews are better. And it's like, I don't know if that's necessarily always true. I think both have their spot. Like, it's a tool, right? And I've specialized in live coaching. For me, live coaching was when I started doing those videos, that's when things really blew up because people really liked the decision making, like in the position of the client, right? And being able to direct where the game goes and show like, no, you need to do this right now. And I think most people that watch those live coachings, they see the decisions in real time and they go, oh, this guy knows what he should be doing, right? And I think the proof was kind of in the pudding there is that most clients would have lost if I wasn't in their ear. And then that kind of just snowballed itself. And then more people just wanted to be on YouTube and prove like, okay, I can follow instructions, right? Like I can do what this guy needs me to do and hopefully learn something in the process. And so that's when I made the coaching site. And then that's when everything started blowing up because more and more people wanted in. And 100, at first I was like, oh, I love this, right? I was like, I get to coach all the time. This is great. I told Mary, I was like, oh, this is dope. I'm doing this all day. And then when I actually, right. Well, it's not, well, it was like, I had 6 slots or 5 slots or something like that. And they were all like 100. And I just literally, there was no stopping. Like, imagine, and the comparison I use is like, okay, imagine you own a gym, right? But you're the only gym in the world. But you can only work with one person at a time. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, yeah, like you could raise the price theoretically as high as you wanted because until they stop coming in, you could just raise it because you're the only gym. So as far as like content for newbies, sorry if I cut out, I'm like leaving League. As far as content for newbies goes, right? I was like the biggest one, the one that anybody that goes to, I still am. Like if you type in League of Legends coaching, like I'm going to show up everywhere, right? And
yeah, that you're indexed pretty well on both Google and the website and the YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm going to show up every time. So basically what happened was the prices got set pretty high and where they are right now is they're probably just not going to come down. I'm probably just going to leave them here. And you know, if I'm being just direct and like brutally honest, like my wife's in the military, like I'm good. Like I don't have to move. I don't have to move my prices at all. I don't have to do anything other than what I'm doing, which is just make good content. If I'm not coaching, then I could be doing like right now, like I could be chatting with you. I could be leveling. I have other projects going on. So, I mean, that's the summary of how it got to this point. So it's a combination of, you know, right place, right time. I'd like to, you know, despite what my haters say, I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at, I saw your stream before we got in the call, actually. You said packaging it, right? Complicated game and packaging it down. Let me give you a cool example of something that happened to me growing up. I was at a party. Everybody was playing Halo. I was pretty good at Halo. I used to go to tournaments for Halo, right? Well, I was at this party. There was this guy who was not good at Halo. Okay, he was okay, right? So these girls asked to play Halo, and they asked me, you know, how do you play? And I nerded out on them, right? I started like over talking. Yes, this is a true story. This guy was like this big bald dude. Yeah. This guy was like a bald. This kind of shaped my understanding of like how to coach. Actually, this small interaction. This dude was a big buff, like not buff, but he was just like a stocky. You know those like stocky dudes that are just like, you know, that if they pushed you, you would just go flying somewhere. He was this big bald dude with glasses. Boston, yeah. Right. And he was from Brooklyn. And I'm talking too much. And he goes, Mark, shut up. And he like grabs a controller and he holds it at the girls and he's like, listen. And he, you know how the left joystick and the right joystick are, right? For shooters by default, right? He points the left joystick and he goes, hey, yo, this is your feet. And then he points to the right joystick and he goes, this is your eyes. Play the fucking game. And he like hands him the controller. And I'm just like, that was like the most quick and efficient. That's like that's the most quick and efficient explanation of playing a shooter. I could have spent years trying to come up with a simple way to say that, right? And I probably would have never gotten to it. Right. So I was like, oh shit, this guy's a fucking genius. And so I realized that the real way to connect with people is to not flood them with a bunch of meaningless shit. Right? Just don't give them meaningless shit. They're going to figure it out on their own and they're going to uncover it on their own. And really, if I'm being completely honest, of all the times that I've ever played high elo, there's so many little details that I really don't care. And I feel like most players just get into word salad. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. You got to find the proper resolution at which you're going to showcase the game to the student.
Right.
You need to know, like, what their understanding should be. And, like, you have probably most experience with that particular student, so you would probably be the best person to decide that. I mean, you're trained for that, essentially.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it started.
Do you think the value of it is justified by the price? What people get out of it?
Well, I personally have said countless times on videos, I've said I would not pay for my own coaching.
Okay.
So, like, personally, I've played games my whole life. So, to me, probably not worth it. Right? Now, if I was somebody who was... I always think about the people that don't have games growing up or, like, just got a computer or, you know, just... things like that where it's like this game is just overwhelming to them. Like maybe it is worth it to them. Like who the fuck am I to say whether or not it's worth to the individual themselves? And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like personally I don't give a fuck what people do with their money. If I believed everything that everybody said about like, oh, NEACE, you're not good enough or this service isn't worth it. Like if I believe that, then I wouldn't have a job. So that's not really how I go about my day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I just go by
confidence. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's that. And it's just I always say the community sets the prices. If there wasn't that many people that wanted it, then I wouldn't be here. Like it's just it's an obvious conclusion when you really drill down into it. Why am I here then?
And the second part would be, what would be the upper limit of pricing? If you assume you have unlimited demand, you have people lining up forever.
Oh, there's no, dude, I'm trying to make money. Like, I'm not shy about it. Like, no, this isn't, okay, let's clear some other things up. Like, first of all, I obviously love talking about video games all day, right? It's literally what I do all day. So I have a love for this stuff. If anybody thinks that I got into this business being like, oh yeah, I can't wait to pay off my homes already, right? Oh, I can't wait right? Like, they'd be an idiot. Like, I would have been happy originally just doing this there's so many streamers that are living like I would have been happy with, if that makes sense. Like, the way that I'm talking through it, right? Like, I can clearly see that they're just breaking even. I could see it. It's like I could see, I know their sub counts. I know, I know how many viewers they're getting. I look at their YouTube channel and I see the sponsorships. I'm not stupid. Like I've been here for a long time. Like I could see myself back then being happy with that. Well, now I'm here. Clearly there's more to this than meets the eye. I'm not going to sit here and fucking pretend like, oh, NEACE, if you could raise the price to 500, would you do it or would you not do it to be nice? Like, no, like I'm trying to make money. That's why we're in this business. Like, who knows? Like tomorrow the CEO of Riot Games could be found to have diddled a bunch of kids and then the whole stock price of League of Legends goes down and goes under or something. You know what I mean? And then we don't have jobs. Like,
it's close to home, that one.
But do you know what I mean?
There's a chance for that. Yeah. No, understand.
I'd like to think that you could very clearly see people go, oh, NEACE yells at clients during coachings. Yeah, man, because I'm competitive. What the fuck? Like, of course, I want the client to do well. I mean, I want him to see, like, you got to put effort in on things. It doesn't just, nothing just falls in your lap, right? Like, do you really think that if I was just getting a paycheck and, like, fucking sitting there, like, do you really think that, like, I wouldn't be upset at the client or at the way that they're taking the coaching or whatever? Like, if I didn't care? Like, of course I care. But at the same time, I'm not fucking running a charity either.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. I had people like doing a devil's advocate earlier in my chat and talking about what would you like, what would be like an immoral pricing for coaching or something like that, and I had a similar response there because you have basically no prior history of advertising or like pushing yourself as a character for like some sort of socialist cause or like trying to spread the stuff. So yeah, like you can't really pull off a judgment of character based on just business, right?
Right. I mean,
there's
it's just silly. It's fucking stupid.
What do you think the validity is of dissecting coaching? Like, let's say you have thousands of coachings published publicly online.
Oh yeah.
What do you think the value of dissecting individual moments where you appear to have a mistake or something? Like, how valuable is that?
Oh, it's awful. It's awful for the scene. Listen, let's put it like this. I'm not always going to be the #1 coach forever and ever, right? I'm going to try to be for as long as I can. But what I'm saying is that eventually someone else is going to be where I am in some other space, right? And this isn't the last of video game coaches costing a lot. I won't be the last, right? So do we really want to set a precedent where every coach pulls up somebody's VODs and starts shitting on the coach with the experience with the client with like small snippets and not being right, like basically being disingenuous in order to tear somebody's credibility and reputation down? Is that really where you want to go? Because if that's where people want to go, that's fine, right? If that's where the culture is going to go, I would expect nothing less from League of Legends or video gamers in general, right? But I would encourage anybody, right? I would think that any coach that's truly, and I'm not saying a coach like, oh, take a NEACE highlight and try to sound smarter than me, right? I'm talking any legitimate aspiring coach watching these interactions, want them to think long and hard about whether they're just being silent and complicit with this type of stuff, or if they're like actively being like, no, this person's a fucking asshole and this is stupid. Because what's going to happen is eventually someone else will be here and they're going to have their shit nitpicked. If you make a body of work for years, eventually you'll be in my position where you'll have people go back
I
3 months ago, right? And they'll grab something that you did or something that you said and they'll basically contrarian it, right? You know, like, listen, I'm going to ask you a question. You know for a fact, this is, if you play mid right now and you went through a VOD of any of my games, right? You know that you could say damn near anything to try to discredit me and you could make a pretty good argument for it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
It'll be fairly easy to dissect and then find minor mistakes here and there.
Right.
Like,
you could find anything. You'd be like, oh, he should have worded. He should have worded here. Obviously. Right. Obviously, he should have had the client word up here, because
I think whole this situation it runs the risk of producing an extremely toxic environment where coaching is gate kept. People will go extremely private. Nobody will publish anything online because of fear of criticism from other coaches. And I think this crossfire, this all-out warfare between coaches could be very detrimental for the learning in the community. So yeah, dissecting minor parts like other coaching is just pretty weird. You could criticize someone's approach to coaching, let's say.
Right, they could say, oh, NEACE yells a lot. Right.
You can say someone is being too mean, and it's like, I don't think this is gonna stick very well. Like, this is psychologically not the right approach to coach people. Maybe you're too agreeable with a person playing, and you're allowing him to make so many shit plays without correcting him. Right. You can criticize approaches like that, but individual scenarios like that, it has to be something really, really bad, in my opinion, for it to be criticized. Right,
and it's also like art. Right, you're not gonna pull up someone's painting and be like, this guy's a shit artist. Like that's how.
Especially like you're gonna pull out like one corner of the painting.
That's it exactly, because it's an hour and a half coaching or even a 30-minute edited YouTube video. It's like, dude, that's not the whole session, first of all, and like second of all, like, what are you trying to do here? Like, you and I both know that the game can be. You can choose. This isn't like right and wrong all the time, and certainly, yeah, there might be situations where it's right and wrong, but like I keep saying all the time, it's like, what if you want the client to just try something because you know he won't do it if you're not around.
Yeah, there's many approaches there. There's definitely many approaches to kind of like. There's also prior insight to the person. I've coached people who didn't know how to exert themselves. They always knew the right play, but they never shot called. They never did it. So I pushed them to make more plays, even though many of those plays could potentially fail. That doesn't mean necessarily it's a bad thing. It's just the paradigm shift of how the person perceives the game and tries to increase their own impact in the game. And by increasing your impact, you see how your mistakes or good plays impact the game, essentially. So you learn a lot more. Okay, let's move on to the tough questions.
Okay.
Okay, so here it is. Are you really a challenger player?
I think right now, probably with some practice and warming up. Yeah, probably. Challenger in Korea? Okay. I don't know. I think I have a pretty good shot.
Okay.
I think
you're running an account, so this is gonna be a good thing for the community to hold you to, and you kind of gonna be even more.
It's hilarious. I still am laughing about the whole thing. Honestly, you know why? Because no one gives a fuck about rank. Right? No one gives a shit about rank. And now all of a sudden, remember, like everybody's like, rank doesn't matter. There's fucking win trading and dodging and this and this and this and blah, 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 blah. They say all these things to discredit the value of ranked. And then once I start making money, all of a sudden ranked matters a lot to people. And that's the other thing, is that people think that I get coaching because of challenger titles or whatever. No one books. I can take challenger out of everything. No one books me because of that. And that's another Twitter moment, because no one that's buying my coaching is like, I'm buying it because of NEACE said challenger, right? No one gives a fuck. I could be rank 1. No one gives a fuck. But all they give a fuck about is whether or not you have content to back it up. If everybody that was rank 1 could get coaching or has hit rank 1, why am I the #1 coach? Think about it.
I mean, rank is not incredible. Like, first of all, there's multiple dimensions. First of all, you're kind of right in saying most people don't really give a rat's ass about rank.
No one cares.
Rank just doesn't. Rank is not something that's easily monetizable.
Well, that was the other thing. Vagar V2, great coach, high elo coach, right? Specialized in high elo, right? He has a challenger account right now, I think, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he usually gets multiple.
Yeah, well, I have more business than him. What does that mean? Right?
Yeah,
like, it's not...
Like that's marketing and branding is...
right, exactly. And so what I'm saying is that, like, at the end of the day, you got to make stuff. No one cares. No one cares. The thing that people care about is your basically the work ethic, and they see your coaching style. That's it. And I want to double down on what you said earlier, where you were talking about hiding your coaching behind paywalls. Vagar V2's Patreon's great, right? I think it's sad. I think it's sad because I feel like a big reason that he doesn't post it is because I think that he sees the community in a certain way. And I think that he probably makes a conscious choice to be like, you know what? I'm not going to really post these that often, right? Because I don't want to be in this position where people are nitpicking my stuff later. Like, I can't even fault him for it because you see it. It's happening right now to me, right?
I think he's hiding it because of that. I don't think that would be his approach.
No. I don't think he's hiding it. I don't think he's... Let me be very clear. I don't think he's hiding it because he thinks that people will view him as incompetent. If anything, his fans absolutely love him, right? But what I am saying is that initially, he probably made the choice back in the day to be like, ooh, I'm taking a big risk posting all my stuff here, right? This could be something that could bite me in the ass later, and I'd prefer to just keep it offline. And I noticed that a lot of content creators would post their stuff initially and then realize what they were doing in like criticizing my stuff all the time, and then suddenly their coaching is now also behind a paywall. It's just a reoccurring theme that I'm seeing a lot in the space. I know that Vagar V2 is kind of pot committed now, right? He has a Patreon, and that's what it is, right? It's like his coaching stuff.
Yeah, could be. I think it's more just like a business decision on his
right.
To have it's just like low bar of entry. I don't know, like a couple of bucks.
Right. No, it's not a Vagar V2 flame or anything like that. That's not what I'm getting at here. I think it's more interesting, right? That there's not a lot of people that do it. And I think it has a lot to do with just community perception, right? Like the game's just really toxic. And I've seen him in particular just in examples, like I've seen him defending his calls to people or defending his opinions on Twitter and getting obviously, you know, kind of offended that people are like nitpicking what he's saying or anything like that. And it's like, yeah, it could be very annoying if people go back in time and dissect like a 2-year-old coaching or whatever and shit on you.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. So on to the next one regarding the challenger.
Right.
Have you reached challenger before on, let's say, NA or a bigger server?
Yeah, so you could go through on threads, like, so if people don't believe me, that's fine. I mean, I really don't give a shit. The screenshots, like, if people don't believe that stuff, that's fine, right? But my whole thing is, you could literally just go to the thread. Like, you could go to Adrian Riven. I don't know if you know who that is. He's been a high elo player for a long time. And even he was just like in threads, like, yeah, I've seen NEACE and Challenger games for years. Like, I'm not shy about saying that I try to make money. Like, I already told you. Like, if I wanted to make fucking Challenger on NA, that's not really a problem for me. Because it's not monetized. Like, I've hit Challenger on NA in previous seasons before season 7 or whatever. But no one gives a fuck. No one was watching the content, man. Like, that's just what it is. Like, I'm not the best player. Right? And B, I'm just not very entertaining when I play all the time. I'm better when I'm coaching. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, also the amount of time you would take to reach challenger would basically yield like 100 more in revenue, let's say, if you just invested in more productive A's. So grinding solo queue would definitely like take away from that.
Right, so like
you
so basically, yeah, and you could have like you could literally look at Adrian Riven, like he's a way better player than me, right? He's a top tier player. He's like, yeah, NEACE has been in my games. We used to play against each other all the fucking time in top lane. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Is people are latching on to some weird they want to do a skill check. That's fine, right? Because I'm here now. I'm in Korea. I have time, so I look forward to it. Right.
I think you're gonna have a lot of people watching this and wanting you to fail.
Oh yes, so, I know, and they're gonna be very, very disappointed. I think people forgot that, like, when I moved to Fortnite, I placed in the open, like the Winter Royale, like the open qualifier, like when Fortnite was the most popular game in the country. Right? Like, I placed top 100. Yep. I did that. I was 30, man. Like, not much has changed. Like, I'm still a gamer. I just don't emphasize. So I've never wanted to even be a pro player in this fucking game.
Okay, what would you say to the allegations that the screenshot of Challenger is fake?
I'd say believe what you want.
Okay, fair
enough. Believe what you want.
My opinion on that, like, people asked me about that the other day, and I was like, there's no way in hell he's that stupid to risk something in such a stupid lie.
But I'm not risking anything, even if it's a lie. There's no risk. It's never been about it anyways. There's no risk. No one from Twitter was buying coaching. None of them could afford it. There's no risk. You see what I mean?
But that would imply that there was an inherent lie in the advertisement, I guess. So people could kind of judge you on that front.
Yeah, I suppose, but at the same time, like, it just doesn't make a difference. It just doesn't make a difference. Like, it doesn't. At the end of the day, when I make high elo in Korea, what are people gonna say? Right? Oh God! Even if it were true, he lied about NA Challenger, which no one really gives a fuck about anyways. That's why there's a fucking champs queue right now. No one gave a shit about it. Now they all want like some sort of credibility check on like a season 9 Challenger account. Like, all of a sudden now, a season where no rewards were had. Right? It's what they do. They basically move their goalposts around until they find something to play gotcha on. Right? So if they don't want to believe it, that's fine. Right? There was some Chinese guy who was very happy to have that account.
Oh, you sold it. Yeah, I saw that.
Right. And the thing is that like I said, I haven't been sitting here fronting. Like, I'm very, very I'm not shy about saying that I'm here to make money, right? Like,
yeah, you've made that clear. Like, it's just business at the end of the day. So, but the issue with the screenshot, let's say if it were fake, which I don't know, I think it's just a ridiculous thing to do. It would constitute as false advertising if you were saying that you were a challenger coach. I can see how that could rile people up.
Yeah, they could get riled, but then they also see, that was the thing, is because at that time, that was all I had. And then we had the fucking video of me playing at like 500 LP Grandmaster. So 500 LP Grandmaster, then we won 2 games. That brings me pretty friggin' high up the ladder. So basically, if people really want to split hairs, and let's say a screenshot's fake, if people really want to split hairs on 10 LP, they could do that. But let's keep in mind, the people that are leveraging allegations, their challenger accounts that they have, right, are taken in like early season, playing about 10 times more games than me. I mean, what are you really arguing about, right? What's the debate point? The debate point is just that you spent more time playing it, right? Like we were talking about earlier, you spent more time grinding the game. Even back then, there was so much content coming out from my channel. Season 9, I'm pretty sure if you go back to 2019, there was all sorts of stuff. It wasn't NEACE playing that Death by Cards account for the whole time. So I'd say it's pretty disingenuous to pretend that like I couldn't make Challenger. The only thing that you could say is that if I did fake a screenshot, it's the only thing that you would really have. Do you see what I'm saying? You couldn't really say that I was bad enough to not make Challenger.
Oh, I understand on the point of not having it. It's just people care about the prestige of having the rank. I think it doesn't really matter if you're like 20, 30 LP up or above, unless the claims are there. And like I've seen logs. I checked logs. I think Yasuke posted them on Twitter.
Right.
I found some logs, and I found like GM. You were really high up GM, like couple of games away, maybe like 1-2 games away.
Right. And then the video,
so,
the video after the fact shows that like I literally load the op.gg and then I play those 2 games. So either I don't hit it, or basically either I hit it or I don't hit it. I'm really fucking close to it. But that doesn't invalidate making Challenger previous seasons where I don't have any sort of fucking history or documentation or anything like that. Do you think that if anybody in my position would know that that would be something that they would go after? Like I would keep logs of every other account in like every season previous. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's understandable. I have a lot of lost documents like that from previous seasons.
Well, that's the thing, is that there's no people talk about like false advertising. What exactly is false? Okay, let's say I don't make season 9 Challenger. Okay, if I make High Elo Korea this year, does that mean I was lying? That I couldn't have made it? Does that mean that like, you see what I'm saying? It's the difference between getting Turd Blaster on your team and the difference between not. No one gives a fuck. Right, yeah, that's the LP difference.
Very, very blurry, especially from season to season, and yeah, like
right. How many
games?
Right, really. What's the real difference? How many players in season 9, right? How many players in season 9 get to Challenger that are like scripting or like cheating or something? You see where I'm going with this? Like, what's the real difference, right? What's the difference between 4 or 5 ranks? Like, are we really gonna do this like fucking technicality bullshit where people try to pretend? Initially, the rumor was NEACE boosted himself all the way up to high elo. Then there's a video I'm playing solo. Right.
So there were claims that you got 80% win rate being dual boosted.
Right. So now, I'm so bad that I'm getting boosted. Well, now the video comes out. Oh, NEACE is, Grandmaster 500 LP playing 80 Twisted Fate in mid. Really? I'm that bad? Right? Like, is that what it is? Like, is 80 Twisted Fate with a 60-something% win rate in fucking Grandmaster? Does it really seem like if I put the time in that I couldn't make Challenger? Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, who gives a fuck? That's what I've always said. Like, who gives a fuck about it? Other than Twitter people. And now at this point, I'm just going to say the screenshot's fake. Right? I'll just be like, fuck it, it's fake. I faked it. And I'm just going to meme it. And then I'm just going to make high elo again. And then they're going to look double stupid because it just proves my point. No one makes Challenger for a fucking screenshot anyways. Screenshot was to sell. You see where I'm going with this?
Okay. The follow-up question to this would be naturally, were you selling under false pretenses in that case? That about fake Challenger?
Sure. Have the Chinese guy sue me.
Okay.
That's... Oh my god.
So, will you get Challenger in season 13? So people are gonna have something concrete.
In Korea, that's gonna be... Wait, season 13? Yeah, so next season, I'd love to. I'm gonna make an attempt, an honest attempt, when I'm not coaching. If I get coaching, I'm always going to choose making money over grinding away at League and wanting to hang myself, right? But
understandable, but there will be like yeah, there will be a lot of people watching here, and like if you don't get it, do you think like they're gonna add some validity to their claims? Will they grow
I don't know.
size?
I don't know. I've still got to figure out in my head what I think's an appropriate comparison, because there ain't nobody that's going to convince me that if I make a certain spot in high elo that it's not substantially a higher credential than NA. Do you understand where I'm going with this? Like,
yeah,
there's just no way that like Korea, you know, low GM isn't Challenger NA, or like Korea high master isn't Challenger NA. But absolutely, just for the sport of it, I'm gonna see what I can do regardless, right? Like, it would be a really tough, it would be a very, very tough sell to convince me that NA, basically just playing, I've just been playing on China, and just playing fucking Diamond 2 China has been harder than most of the high elo stuff I've seen on NA, to put it into perspective.
Do you have some time for a couple of Twitter questions?
Yeah. I'm chilling. I'm literally just leveling right now. Literally, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna drop a few.
Love it.
What does NEACE think of the league's current tutorial and its effectiveness? If the tutorial is better, would there be less of a need for coaches? And if so, would the coaching prices change?
So I've talked about this. I'll speak from two sides. I'll speak as business NEACE, and I'll speak as gamer NEACE, okay? Business
cool.
NEACE wants Riot to continue to be incompetent. Okay? Business NEACE wants Riot to be incompetent and not put a better tutorial in. Because business NEACE likes money and does not want to have to work very often, right? But gamer NEACE, who really, really wants the game to get new players in it, which I would argue that even my YouTube channel is exciting players, like to get players to play the game again. The amount of coaching clients that I get that just say, hey, I'm getting back into this game because I love your videos and I love that you're coaching people, right? And it just makes me excited to play the game. I realized I wasn't taking, I didn't realize there was so much information to this game and there was so much I could control, right? And they get excited. I think that gamer NEACE is a little sad that Riot doesn't care about its new player experience that much.
Yeah, for a game with such complexity, to have such a terrible tutorial is just...
well, it's not even just the tutorial. I think that's simplifying it. I think that it's not only the tutorial is the problem, but right now, here I'm leveling. I can't get a smite and I can't get a flash for some reason.
Yeah, the initial experience, like getting into the game, is just really
very
wild.
weird. It's weird. It just feels like... It feels like it's as old as the game is.
Yeah, and most people like coming into the game now are familiar to the game to some degree. They're either like coming from a banned account or like a second account, or they watch the game a little bit to understand something. And they maybe have seen like a coaching, oh, this guy's playing jungle, I want to play jungle. Goes in the game, he can play jungle.
Right.
What is up with that?
Well, that's the thing, is they should, and Phalaris is my jungle coach on my site, and he's fucking phenomenal at it. And he is constantly talking about like there should be like a jungle tutorial, right? Like that would be something that would be wonderful for the game, that, you know, that would make everybody says they don't want to play jungle, right? Well, the reason they don't want to play jungle is because it's fucking confusing role and no one teaches them how to play it, right? Until they go to YouTube. Like, and it reminds me of like Minecraft when you first go to find the Ender Dragon. Well, now I think they do kind of give you some sort of like direction with the game eventually, right? But like, it feels kind of like that with League. Like, why don't we have some sort of information that you don't have to go to fucking Google for? Dota has coaches Dota has coaches in the app. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, really?
Dota 2, yeah, you can get a coach right in the game. Swear to God.
Sick. That's pretty good.
I know.
Oh, that reminds me of the old Spectate game thing. That used to be really good.
If people are saying NEACE, like here's gamer NEACE again. If people are saying that like I am taking advantage of people or whatever, that's not my problem. Like, that's not my problem. That's Riot's problem. Right? If
yeah, partially to that, I also had a good thought about that. Like, a lot of people are gonna accuse you of only catering to low elo players, like gold and below. But on the other hand, most people are gonna be extremely elitist about ranks. I mean, I'm partially like to blame here as well, because I treat basically diamond and everything below as low elo. And
yeah.
I will very often say reductionary to kind of sum them all up in one place.
I'll say shit like that when I'm mad, but at the end of the day, the game's hard as fuck. I think anybody that pretends otherwise is just, you know, their life experience is league.
Incredibly high bar of entry. You need to know so many abilities just to get started in the game. Like, you need to know 150 champs, how they play, what roles do, and all that stuff.
There's a reoccurring constant with people that say shit like that, like who really mean it. And usually this is all they have. This is their only thing in life, is playing League of Legends. The only thing they understand, because it's all they've done their entire life. So it's very, very easy to dismiss newer players and be like, oh, these people are so stupid, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, dude. Dude just got into this game. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't even know how to move his camera yet. And you're basically saying that he's an idiot and he can't learn. It's like, is this how, like, this is why games like Call of Duty and Fortnite are killing us. Like, yeah, at least in
exactly.
NA,
that's why
right?
Quake died, basically.
Right. It's this bullshit that people do.
The learning curve is just too steep. Yeah.
Like, you gotta invite people to play the game. You gotta be willing to take the time to explain it to them, and you've got to be willing to take the time to explain it to them in a way that's not fucking stupid and confusing. And like I always say, you know, high elo, it makes sense to be drawn all over the screen, right? It makes sense. Like a VOD review, I understand. But how are you going to take a silver player's game and tell the reason that he's in fucking low elo is because of runes that he took, and then draw over his fucking screen and pretend that that's what he needs to be working on when he's playing lock camera and he's got 20 APM? Like, get the fuck out of here, you know?
I usually try to avoid like direct feeding of information like that. Like, take these runes, take that, do that specifically, build this. I try to teach principles on why
concepts
would be desirable. Yeah.
Concepts.
I think you're giving essentially people a way to learn way more efficiently, and they're not gonna wake up tomorrow and be 2 ranks higher. It's just a way to accelerate the progress down the road.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's very telling of people's life experience levels, or their I would even go as far as to say their lack of balance in their life. Something that I struggled with when I was younger, right? Obviously, if I'm in this position now, I probably had that problem, right? I'm a little older now and I see it for what it was. Like, I'm not stupid. Like, if I go to the mechanic, that guy's experience in life is fixing cars. If mechanics was like, or I should say, if being a mechanic was like how it is in this video game, you'd have a bunch of mechanics calling each other shit all the fucking time, right? And calling people that don't know how to fix cars, right? And then people that don't know how to fix cars, all the people that don't know how to fix cars, these people are fucking stupid. How stupid are these people? Right? Like, it's really dumb if you think about it. Like, monumentally, like, they're just behind. They're just going to look very short-sighted in the future, I think.
Here's one question for me in the middle of this. Like, do you think, like, military service helped you in forming discipline in terms of getting better or teaching other people?
Bro, people yell at me all the time for how I coach, but this is, like, standard military shit that I do. I do the same shit that they do in basic. Like, the same ideas, right? Just sometimes I'm in worse moods than others. But, like, people go, why doesn't he? It's so funny. I'm so glad you asked that question. It's so funny to me. I will sit. This game is so high stress, right? And you have to be able to think about what the fuck you're doing and make a decision, right? Even if the decision's wrong, the game is stressful and you've got to choose. And the military, you get yelled at and you make a choice, and sometimes you look like a bumbling idiot, but every time you do, you get a little bit more confident. You know why? Because you think to yourself, well, can't get any worse than that, right? I just tripped over my fucking, I just tripped over a sidewalk here because the drill sergeant was yelling at me with all my gear on. Now I have to pick it back up, right? Like, I'm a lot less, like, at that point, you're tougher. Like, you're mentally tougher because you're dealing with a stressful situation. And for some people, they learn very quickly, like, he's getting on me because I'm not moving fast enough. I'm not coming up with solutions fast enough. I'm not making a choice and sticking to it. That is very much, a lot of my coaching style is influenced by my time in the military, because that league is not, people pretend, right? Again, a bunch of weirdos that only have played League their whole life. People pretend because they have a handle on League and nothing else, that means that the way that I should teach League is for them. And it's like, no, brother, like, League is natural to you. It's like an extension of your hand right now. You understand it. A new player needs to understand the tempo by which the game needs to be played, because until someone shows them, they have no idea. And only by pressuring people can you really get that result out of them. Now, if there was a better player, if I'm coaching high elo, yeah, I'll pull up VOD reviews. If you notice in high elo coachings, I don't yell at those guys quite as much because I trust them to be able to pilot their champion, right? I trust him to be able to do it.
It's an ingratiation tactic for like rookies to an extent.
Right. Because if you let people, I get a guy stuck in silver for 7 years. Obviously, the way he's playing isn't working. So now I've got to do like Drill Sergeant NEACE and snap him out of it.
Attempting to shake him up, yeah.
Right, because he obviously if I leave him alone, he's going to do it again.
Yeah, I agree. I remember, that's why I asked you a question. I remember reading the book from Jocko Willink. He was in the Navy SEALs. He had like a book about leadership, and it has like a lot of correlations in terms of like working in team and tactics and how to pull yourself away from the situation and kind of think things through and learning. So yeah, I think it could correlate to League and in any facet of life, honestly.
I mean, if you're playing chess, obviously my coaching style makes no sense. Right? I guess unless it's like speed chess maybe, but even then it wouldn't make any fucking sense. My coaching style is perfect for this game. It's just what it is. Like for players that are new, like it's perfect. That's a big reason why players that have done the coaching, a lot of them, like if you go to like my Trustpilot, most of my coaching students are really, really happy. Like they're super happy. So happy they made a Trustpilot account and fucking reviewed it. Right? They didn't have to do it. It's because it's just a good way to teach somebody a very hard game. You have to put them under pressure, because if you think that you could just play this game at your own pace, for most players, their own pace just isn't enough, and they need to see it, right? They need to feel the pressure so that they go, oh my God, I can't be worse than when this guy was yelling at me in front of like, you know, a YouTube channel and a stream, right? I could make mistakes all day after this. Jesus fucking Christ. Let me try some stuff now, right? Like I'm not going to be as scared anymore. And that's what a lot of people want. They want to be, like you said, almost like initiated that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a variance between people as well. There's different people respond to different types of coaching better. Sure. Like some people might want a bit more mild coaching. Some people might respond, like might never like listen to anyone unless you're yelling.
Right.
So yeah. Understandable, and people know your style, so when they go in, it's kind of obvious what they're in for. Yeah, okay, so we got more on Twitter. Is it possible that after doing coaching for a living for such a long time, NEACE has let his professionalism go to a degree and his quality has gotten worse simply because he would not have put the same effort he used to anymore? I guess like a diminishing like quality over time.
There's definitely days that I don't know if I would say that. I think there's definitely days where, I mean, I'm only human, right? It does absolutely become a job. I think it would be disingenuous to sit here and pretend that like the first 100 coachings were always the same as like coaching number 800, coaching number 1200, right? Like I think it would be, I've seen a lot of things time and time again, but I've also, I guess, I have no problem like going over, like my stream has seen it. I have no problem going to the practice tool and being like, this is how you A left click. This is how you do this. Like, I have no problem going over anything. I don't think it's fair to say that quality will have decreased. If anything, I would say that I've become a lot more optimized in terms of how fast I diagnose somebody. Sometimes it's kind of like, it's like going to the doctor, right? Initially, I'm sure when a doctor goes to start actually being a doctor in a real fucking, a real building, right? Initially, that doctor is like really, really unsure about his diagnosis, right? And it could seem like he's almost disconnected at times later in his career. Have you ever had that doctor?
Yeah, you can feel the robotic
right. Right. It's almost like, it's like that. Maybe certainly I'm sure I'm susceptible to that level of just like damn, you know, I've seen this 10,000 times. I know exactly what's wrong. And it may seem like I didn't put much thought into it to the client, maybe. But in reality, it's not that I didn't put much thought into it. It's like, just, dude, I've seen you before. You're not that special. And maybe that could be construed as like, oh, he just doesn't care as much. It's like, no, dude, I'm just, you know, I've done this more than anybody. Anybody that says NEACE isn't a challenger player or whatever, I would definitely say like, okay, but in the coaching realm, I am well equipped to diagnose people quickly more than anybody onto what they need, right? Because I've just spent so much fucking time doing this. Like, how could I not be?
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Okay, there's a Twitter one. Okay,
a Twitter? What does that mean?
This one is from Twitter, but it's with Twitter logic, I guess. It's Twittery. It's got Twitter all over it. So, does he think predatory marketing using exclusionary social tactics, isolating low-knowledge individuals from greater communities to maintain their ignorance, and peer pressure them into financial burden, is
financial burden?
Morally agreeable or remotely talented act?
It feels like a troll post.
I had to read this one like twice to just fully comprehend it.
Well, it's a lot of big words. They found themselves feeling real smart after they wrote it.
Yeah, so
I would say, I mean, predatory how? Like, Medify has coaches that are $5. Like, why aren't they getting coaching then? How's it predatory? How am I isolating anybody? Post coaching, then you would not. I post 2 coachings almost every day. Like, just post stuff, and then you wouldn't be as isolated. I wouldn't be isolating anybody. Like, that's. I never understand these arguments because they always remove. Like, they always remove the amount of work that I put in from the equation.
I mean, yeah, that happens with literally any successful, like, people. Like, if you're a streamer, nobody sees the first 3 years, it's just the last year. Like,
people talk like I'm Walmart. This
amount of money for that.
Like, like, think about this. People talk like I'm Walmart. Like, I'm not just sitting here right now on a call with you. Like, I can't be coaching right now. I'm in a call. Like, I am limited by time, you know. Right? Like,
you're saying you're not Walmart?
Yeah, it's like the way they talk, they talk like there's 10 of me. Like, there's 10 nieces running around just like inhaling all the coaching. Like, no, dude, people just didn't understand their value, and I did. That's it. And I just worked hard. Like, that's it. It's not any deeper than that. Like, the world's a big place. That's why I have so many clients, man. I take a lot of the market share up. That's all. It's not predatory. It's not like I once said that I'm a better coach than you right now. Have I said that? I said I'm the #1 in terms of requested, but have I said Azzapp, your coaching sucks and your viewers should not they should not be coached by you? Never said that, did I?
I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. If I did, I snuck it by, right? Like, there's no damn it, NEACE did it again. Right? No, like, but there's plenty of coaches that do that to me. Right? And there's plenty of people that say I'm predatory. How? Like, you see me sitting right here. Like, I didn't do anything. I don't know.
That was cool. I mean, this one was a little bit weird, but I just wanted to get
I think it's funny. I think it's a funny question.
Yeah. So it's got a fair bit of likes. So I thought it was weird from it's like a classic Twitter statement. So yeah, I think this was great. I think this was pretty great. We touched on a lot of things, like a lot of others that are commented. We basically touched on, so I don't want to like go into repetitiveness. We basically did most of the things that I wanted.
Yeah, basically.
Talk, honestly.
Summary is NEACE bronze coach, NEACE photoshops challenger.
True. Yeah.
True. And then NEACE is scamming people, and NEACE is like a big business, is like Walmart. And I am kicking everybody else out of business. I'm coming into their streams. I am removing their ability to market themselves manually.
And if you don't get challenger in Korea now, you have to delete all the accounts.
I will literally delete everything if I don't make challenger in Korea. Yeah, I'll just delete it.
Okay, market chat. There we go.
Yeah, I just gotta, there's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake here, boys.